This is critical thinking on the endocrine system, the first part. So here let's look at some questions. So this is on secretion, the control of secretion. This question is on ADH. This is on iodine and the thyroid gland. And here's another question on thyroid hormones. So let's look at this first one, where the question says, during bright light, the sympathetic nervous system is stimulated through retinal impulses. So first, that's the first part of the question, that the sympathetic nervous system is stimulated through retinal impulses. After that, this in turn depresses melatonin secretion. So this is the second part. Melatonin secretion is depressed through the action of norepinephrine, which is released by the sympathetic nervous system. So what is happening is that you have retinal impulses. So here's the retina. The retinal impulses act on the sympathetic nervous system and cause secretion of norepinephrine. So this is a hormone, norepinephrine, which is being secreted because of the action of retinal impulses. Then norepinephrine depresses the secretion of melatonin, which is another hormone. So there's melatonin here, so that's another hormone. So there are two parts to the question. In the first part, retinal impulses, which are nervous impulses since they travel through the optic nerve, they act on the sympathetic nervous system and cause release of norepinephrine. So here it is nervous influence, which is or nervous control of secretion. So the nervous control causes secretion of norepinephrine, which is a hormone. Then norepinephrine decreases the secretion of melatonin. So here it has action on another hormone. So this is hormonal control. So therefore the correct answer here would be both hormonal and neural control. So it's not only hormonal because this part is hormonal. It's not only neural because this part is neural. It is both. Of course, humoral does not come into the picture at all. That will only come into the picture when we use the word blood, when we say blood levels. For example, if I said blood level of glucose determines the production of insulin. So that is serum or blood level. So it's not going to be humoral at all. Let's look at the next question, which is this one, which says, in which of the following situations would you not expect ADH to be secreted? Now let's look at ADH and what is its action. ADH is antidiuretic hormone. It will be secreted by the body to prevent urine or lot of urine being formed. So in other words, it will be secreted when the body needs to conserve fluids. So wherever the body needs to conserve fluids, you secrete ADH so that less urine is formed and hence fluid is conserved. So let us look at all these situations. So Brian having severe diarrhea. When you have severe diarrhea, you're passing a lot of water in the stools. So then the body is already losing a lot of water. So ADH would be secreted because you want to conserve fluid. You don't want to lose more fluids by passing more urine. So in this case, ADH will be secreted. Let's look at this one where it says Amy is involved in an accident, is bleeding profusely. So again, like the previous one, there is fluid loss here. And so hence the body needs to conserve fluid, which means ADH will be secreted so that she passes less urine and does not lose any more fluid. So again, ADH is going to be secreted. Let's look at the third choice where it says Muhammad is sweating profusely. That means he's sweating so much, again, has fluid loss and the body needs to conserve fluid. So you need to secrete ADH so that less urine is passed. So this person also is going to have ADH being secreted. Let's look at the last one. James is enjoying his first binge drinking party. He's had 5 tall drinks already. So he's been drinking a lot. So this person has increased fluids in the body. So you don't need to conserve any fluid. Instead, you need to get rid of this excess fluid. So here, the body will not secrete ADH because if it did, then you won't pass urine. So since it doesn't secrete ADH, the person will pass copious amounts of urine so that the extra fluid is lost in the urine. So this is the right answer to this question because this is when the body does not need to conserve fluids, hence will not secrete ADH. Let's look at the next question, which says that Paul has not been taking iodine in his diet, and what is this likely to cause? So first thing is that iodine is required for production of thyroid hormone. So there will be decreased production of thyroid hormones because it's needed for that. So this is going to happen. Let's look at the next one. There'll be increased production of TSH. This will also be there because if you remember this loop, you have TRH, which acts on TSH, which acts on the thyroid gland to produce T3 and T4. When levels of T3 and T4 reach an optimal point, they then have a negative feedback effect on these two. So they are no longer produced. T3, T4 production stops for a while, so the levels begin to drop. When they drop beyond a certain point, this negative effect is gone, and then TRH, TSH will be produced again, then the cycle starts. Now we already here in this case less T3 and T4 is being produced. So therefore, because there is less, the optimal level has not been reached, it cannot have a negative feedback effect. Therefore, TSH will continue to be produced. So the levels will be very high. And because the levels are very high, they will stimulate the thyroid gland and cause the gland to increase. So that's why it's called thyroid stimulating hormone. So therefore, both of these will be there, these two other statements. So all three statements hold true. Therefore, this is the right answer to this question. Now let's look at this last one, which says, why would a child suffering from cretinism have mental retardation and a short stature? The function in cretinism is hypothyroidism. So there is hypothyroidism here. In hypothyroidism, less thyroid hormones are produced. The function of thyroid hormones is to act on practically all tissues in the body. So it acts on the skeletal system, it acts on the nervous system, and if the hormones are less in amount, the skeletal growth will be poor, as well as nervous system will be incomplete because this is a child. So nervous system would be development would be incomplete. So both hold true. Therefore, this is the right answer for this question.